everyone, my name is Amy, and today in this video you're going to be learning guitar basics. This means parts of the guitar, how to tune your guitar, the names of the strings, and also how to pick and strum your guitar. First of all, with guitars, there's two main types of guitars, electric and acoustic. This guitar that I have right now is an acoustic guitar because it doesn't plug in anywhere and it has this hole which amplifies the sound because it's hollow inside. Although there are electric acoustic guitars where it's acoustic, it looks like this. It has the hole in here and it's made of wood, and then it also has a jack at the bottom, which would be right here, where you can plug it into an amplifier, which makes it louder like you would with an electric guitar. Electric guitars are much thinner. They have a lot of hard wiring inside, which allows you to plug it in and play it really loudly. You can adjust the volume on your amplifier, and they're denser and they have a lot more extra parts that you can adjust, some volume knobs and tone knobs. So depending on what kind of guitar you have to practice on, you might be using an electric guitar with an amplifier so you can hear yourself playing, or you might use an acoustic guitar like this one, or an acoustic electric guitar, which you could also plug in. In terms of parts of the guitar, we have, and the parts are similar on both electric and acoustic, although the electric has a few extra parts, which are mostly just electrical inputs and different dials that you can change. So this is the body of the guitar. It's the main part that you play on, and it's the biggest part where the sound comes from. Yeah, so on the body we have this is the hole that creates this louder sound. As you see when I strum it, it makes the sound kind of echo because it's hollow in there and the sound waves are able to get amplified. This is the pick guard, which helps when you have a pick and you're strumming so you don't scratch up your guitar. It protects the body. Since this is wood and we don't want to scratch it up too much, there's like a glossy finish on it. This right here is the bridge, and then these are the string pegs where the strings go in. So yeah, this keeps the strings pushed up off the guitar so we can strum them. Alright, so then this is the neck, this long part here that does pretty much look like a neck. And then on the neck we have all these different frets which are marked off by these little metal pieces here. So for example, if you're playing a song and it says 5th fret, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's right there. So the frets are numbered, and then they also have these little dots that are helpful markers. So if you say 5th fret, you know to look for this one with a dot on it right there. And if you say 12th fret, you know to look for the one with the double dots. So you can practice counting those, or looking at a picture, or looking at your own guitar. You can put little post-it notes on where the frets are to get you more used to it, and then eventually you'll just know where they are without even having to count. So past the neck here we have the nut, which is where the strings kind of come to rest, and then here is the headstock, or the head, and this is where all of the strings are kind of wound up onto these little pegs. And then the things that you can turn to change the tightness or looseness of the strings are called the tuning pegs, and we're going to get to those when we're talking about how to tune your guitar. Next, we are going to learn the names of the strings. Starting at the top here, you're going to be holding your guitar like this with the neck in your left hand, and you're going to strum with your right hand. The one that's closest to you on the top here is your E string. So that's your low E string. Next is A. That's the next one down. And then the next one down is D, and then we have G, and then we have B, and then we have high E, and that's your last one up here. So a nice mnemonic that you can use to memorize the names of the strings is Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. This is going to be the top of your guitar as you see it closest to you, and that's the bottom. So you have low E and high E, and they just go like that. Alright, so next we're going to learn how to tune our guitar. So on my guitar, on the head, I have a snark tuner that I clipped to the head. It has these little kind of prongs you push, almost like a clip or something. And then this is going to be the display that tells you what the note is that you're playing and then how far off you are. So there are different types of tuners. There are ones for electric guitars where you can just plug right into it and it'll do the same thing, but it's kind of a rectangle shape and you plug it in with your cord. So you might be using one of those. Otherwise, the most other common type is the clip-on one like I have. So I'm just going to get out a pick here. And when it comes to a pick, there are ones that are thinner and more bendy. And then there are ones that are kind of thicker. This one's pretty thin. Usually they come in terms of thin, medium, or heavy. And heavy being the most thick and doesn't bend very easily. I usually choose a medium or thin pick. Okay, so when we're tuning, first we need to turn on our tuner. So just press this middle button here. And then I usually start with E, low E, so the one that's closest to you, and then you go up. So you're just going to play the note, and if you can see on here, it should line up with that green perfectly. So if it's past here, like if it shows this yellow, you want to turn it down closer to you, but this looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit higher. So turning it away from you is going to make it higher, turning it towards you is going to make it lower, and then higher and lower correspond on there. So then we're going to move on to the next one, A. So we're going to turn it towards us. So we get a little bit lower. That looks good. Right about there. Alright, the next one is D. This one's really high because you see all that yellow. So we're going to turn it way down. Okay, that looks good. And then G. So we're turning it lower. Seems like all my strings are pretty high. Towards us. Alright. And then that looks good. Next, B. So this one actually says, at first it said C, which means it's a whole note higher. So B, C comes after B, so we want to turn it way down because that means it's really high. That looks good. And then the last one is high E. Okay, that looks good, and then you can test it out. Just strum a chord, and if you don't know any chords, you'll definitely learn those in the next few videos. Alright, so now that we know how to tune our guitar, and there are a few other ways to tune, which you might learn later. There's one where you use the 5th fret and do open strings, just to check. It's kind of just a quick check to make sure that all of your strings are in tune, but it's not super helpful, so you might learn that later as well. And then the last thing we're going to do is learn how to do some picking and strumming. So when it comes to picking, there are a lot of different ways you can do it, but you want to hold your pick in between your thumb and pointer finger, kind of like this, and kind of tug it in there so you have a good grip on it. So thumb and pointer finger, and just pinch it like that. You don't want to hold it with any other fingers. You don't want to do a fist, just right like that. And then for picking, usually a down, up method is best. I would say that's easiest to start out with. There are a lot of other pickings you can do, but down, up. So just try with your pointer finger. Just put your pointer finger on the 3rd fret, and then on the low E string, and try picking up and down. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You can try another string, another fret, so maybe let's do 5th fret A string, put your ring finger there, and then go down, up again. And your goal is to try to not hit any of the other strings, just hit that string. And once you get some practice of that, you can try and do some melodies, like you can do scales, down, up, just keep working at that. So then strumming is playing a bunch of strings at the same time, and this is mostly for chords that we're going to use strumming, and there are a ton of different strumming patterns as well. You can do strumming without a pick or with a pick, but I think it's easiest to start out with a pick so you don't hurt your fingers. Once you get calluses on your fingers, it becomes a lot more easy. So we're going to use a pick for this. And you don't have to play a chord. If you don't know any chords, that's totally cool. An easy strumming pattern is the same as the picking pattern I showed you. It's just down, up, down, up. So you're going to do down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's just the down, up over and over again. Another easy strumming pattern that you can do is down, down, up, down, up. So this one is using a ton of songs. It's really easy, and it just takes a little bit of rhythm. So once you've nailed the down, up, you can try this one. So it goes like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. So I hope that was helpful for everyone. And just keep at it, keep practicing your picking, your strumming, try to learn the frets and the different parts of the guitar, and you'll be all ready to go for the next video. Bye!